All right. So I'm going to repeat the concept of joins once. Okay. So, so last time we had seen this, but I'll repeat it once more in terms of if I have two tables, one is a customer table, the other is an employee table. And if we want to find out which of our customers are our employees or which of our employees are our customers, looking at this data, you will primarily try and match the customer name, right? So if you see over here, Jack is a customer as well as an employee, and Susan is a customer as well as an employee. So from that aspect, when you look at it, we are able to, this is called a join in terms of SQL. Okay. So here we had looked at this, an inner join, which implies that you are only getting all the records which are common in both of them based on customer and employee. So you notice this A and this B, that is indicating customer table is referenced as A and employee table is referenced as B. All right. That is what is the meaning of that A dot customer is equal to B dot employee. So the output that you will get is only these common lines. Now, if I look at it the other way, when I have this table, if I do a left join, right, this was an inner join. If I do a left outer join, what it indicates is I want all records of my left hand side table, that is customer table. So my output will get, if there is a record on the right hand side, it will be joined with the respective record of the left hand side. So customer Jack is also an employee, so you will get a record for that. But customer Adam is not an employee. Customer Benjamin is not an employee, so you will not get records for that from the right hand side table. So your output is going to be like this. For Adam, Benjamin and Nick, they're going to be blank rows. And for Jack and Susan, you will get data from the right hand side as well. That is what you call the left outer join. Then you have a right outer join, wherein the right hand side table is the base. So you will get all records of the right hand side and only the ones which are common from the left hand side. Okay, so this is how the output is going to be. So here you see data for Jack and Susan, which you get the customer record also for both of them. The full outer join, you will get records from both the tables. Okay, so in this case the output is going to be like this: employee and customer. So you will get all records of customer, all records of employee. So there is a blank row wherever you don't find any record for customer or for employee, but you will get a complete row for Jack and Susan. Then we had seen, okay, these are the four possible options. You have an inner join, left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. That is what we had seen. Many times you can get duplicates in joins. So here if I see, right, order, in this table I will be joining on order. So I have an order number, primarily I'll be joining on that. So order number 001, if I see on the left hand side table, there are two records for order number 1 on the right hand side table. 002, I have one record. 003, I have three records, and 004, I don't have any records. So if I do a join, I will see this. I do an inner join, I will get only record for 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right, 001, 002 and 003. I will not get record for 004 because there isn't anything on the right hand side. So like this, I am getting these records. There is no record on the left hand side. And you'll notice that the left hand side data is duplicated because you have multiple records on the right hand side. Okay. You can join on multiple fields as well. It's not only on one particular field, you can join on multiple fields as well. So here, in this case, if I join only on order number, that you'll notice order number 1, there are 3 records. order number 2, there is 1 record. And again for 001, there are 3 records. So if I do a join like this, I will get 3 records for 001 over here, 1 record for 002, and again 3 records for 001. My output, though I'm getting the output, but practically it's incorrect. The reason being, I am matching 001 record of the south store with the north store, which is not correct. It's like matching somebody else's, giving marks of somebody else to you, which is also unfair to both of you. So from that perspective, in this case, we cannot join only on the order number. We need to join on both the order number and the store. So when that happens, north store 001 order matches for 2 records, 002 1 record, and 001 for south store matches for 1 record. Now this comes correctly. Okay, this is the concept of a join. This is the concept of a join. Make sense? Alrighty. So we saw a basic join. If I go to a basic join. Yeah, any doubts? Or was that my own echo? So if I look at this over here, right, I have orders table and order details. So I have order ID in this. You see this order ID and order detail ID. This is an order details. So if I go to orders, I have order ID. So if I look at it, select star from orders. If I want to join it, right, I can literally join. I can do it in a different way. Select star from orders, comma. I can do order details where I can make this as A and this as B. So I write A dot order ID is equal to B dot order ID. So now I am joining both the records and I am getting this detail. I can even join it on product ID. Okay. So if I look at it, this is products, right? I can even join it on product ID. I'll put products C and A dot product ID, another B dot product ID, C dot product ID. Now I get the product name also like this because I'm joining on this. If I want to join on supplier, I can even join it on supplier ID. I can put suppliers and C dot supplier ID is equal to D dot supplier ID. Okay. So it's not showing all the columns somehow. Yeah, it's showing the supplier ID. I can actually choose whatever columns I want, right? I will say, let's say I choose A dot order ID. Comma C dot supplier ID.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the A, B, and these the letters that you're giving, sir, they are why are we giving it? So as to give them a column, like we have to join them. What is it for?
So if I don't give this name, right, I'll have to write it this way, orders dot order ID, because both the columns have the same column name. Both these columns have the same column name, right? If I see orders, it also has order ID. Order details also has order ID. Yeah, let me just copy this for a second. I see select star from orders. So you see this order ID is over here. It's like there are two Nehas. Imagine there are two Nehas in the class. So how are you called?
By the surnames.
Yes. So think of it in that sense. By the surname. You need something to reference it. And if I check order details, I am also having an order ID over here. I want to match both those order IDs. Right? There are in that sense I want to match both of them. What I can do is select star from, I write orders, comma order details. I cannot write order ID equal to order ID. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, there is an error. Which order ID are you referring to? So for that, I'll have to write like this. Orders.order ID and order details.order ID. I'll have to put it this way. Not coming. It doesn't take it that way. So we represent it in this way. What am I doing wrong? One second, huh? Just doing something weird. Okay, just give me a second. This is stuck. Oh, come on. Let's try it over here. Okay, when I try it over here, right, I have select star on orders, right? I have select star from orders. So I get a specific output over here. And I get select, when I do select star from returns, here it is based on order ID again. If I look at it, it is all based on order ID again. Yeah, so you have to match, we have to match order ID. So order ID over here. In both these columns, there is order ID. Select star from orders. Sorry. And returns. I cannot write order ID equal to order ID. If I write it like this, it will not make sense because the system is not going to understand which order is for what. Yeah? Column order ID in the clause is ambiguous. It does not understand it. So I can write orders dot this. So you see, right, when I type a dot, it gives me the list of all columns. And the same way over here, orders dot. The order returns dot. Returns dot. When I run it this way, it runs. It gives me all the matching records. Okay, this is a join. You can think of it as an inner inner join, only the common records are seen over here. Instead of typing this returns, right, or the orders every time, I can make it as A. I can make this as B. So A dot this, B dot this. So I get the same output. I am just giving it a synonym, which I can easily use. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So in the same way, what we are seeing over here, right? I have typed this A dot order ID. So I can try, let's say if it types, it works this way. Ideally it should. It's not taking it this way over here, but it should, because here, at least in a normal tool, you can see I can type the table name itself and I get the output. Make sense? So you try this one, try this one. This is a very basic one. We had tried this earlier also. So try this one. This is on MySQL. You got the output? All right. Neha, you also got the output? Okay. So we'll try a left join. All right. We'll try a left join over here. If you remember, if you saw the presentation, the left join is, we have to write left join or left outer join. Okay. Which table? We need to write the table name over here. And then the field. So the select statement is same. Like we have over here, the select statement is same over here. All right. The structure is same, select column names from table name. Then we have to write left join on which table and what field do you want to join on. So that is the same thing. So if I write select star from orders A, left join returns B on A dot order ID equal to B dot order ID. And when I run this, I will get all records of the left hand side, all rows of the left hand side. So you notice earlier, right, when we ran the first query, here you're getting 1936 rows. When I run the first record, first query, I'm getting only the ones which are common. That's like an inner join. Here, I'm getting only the record which are common. I mean, I'm getting all records, but on the right hand side, right, I will get only records for the ones which match. So you see this order ID and status is null because this is not there in the returns. Now I can order it by b.order ID. So I will know when I do this, I should be getting the matching records either at the top or at the bottom. So these are the ones which are matching. So this is easier to locate. And I make it descending. So this comes at the top. Make sense? So again, you can try this one. Got the idea, right?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if there's a left join returns,
Hmm.
so how does the system know till what it has to get the data, till what point it has to get the data from?
I didn't get the question. Returns is the table name, okay? Returns is the table
So
name.
yes, sir. But sir, how know as in if you're talking about the order ID here
Hmm.
from the returns table,
Yes.
so uh, so how will it know that till what point that the data has to be as in
See, the
uh,
base table is the left hand side table, orders. So it
yes,
will take all rows of
yes,
left hand side, all the records of left hand side. And one by one, it's going to check if there is a record for this order ID in the right hand side, whether 59937 record is there in returns table. It's going to check one by one. If there are two records, you will see two records over here. There's one record, you'll see one record. So like this, right? 37729, there is no record on the right hand side. There is no record in returns. So it goes on checking for each record for all the rows in the orders. So there are, let's see how many rows are there in select count star. Yeah, there are 1936 records. That is the base. It's going to check for each of those 1936 records. Each record is going to check one by one. Like we saw over here, one by one, we're going to go and check on the right hand side.
for for the orders table, it will for the orders table, it will take all the orders on the left hand side and will check with the returns.
Yeah, so left side of the
In
table is
context.
order. Left side of the table in this SQL query, left side is orders. Okay, so that is my base.
Okay.
So all rows of left hand side will come.
But sir, can't we write for the so won't it be confusing if we write it for the left and for B? We're taking the left side of the
Whatever you write
orders table,
first,
not
right?
the returns table.
No, whatever you write first over here, and if you written left join, that means it's going to take on the first table that you've written over here. That is my left
Okay.
hand. So wherever you write like left join, so this orders, left join. You want to do a left join on orders. So orders is going to be the base. If I change this to right, okay, if I change this to right, you see everything is coming null, and I'm getting 1638 records. What it did, it took records for, and let me change this order by to a dot this a dot order ID. So at the top, I'm getting only the records which are matching. The first 15 rows are the ones which are matching. In this case, what happened? The right side is taken as base. These two columns of my returns table is the base. And then I'm going to fetch everything from the orders table for each of these order IDs. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So try the same thing with right join. If I do an inner join, I should get only 15 records. See, I'm getting only 15 rows because it is giving me only the ones which are matching. So like this. So try it. Just change the order. Just change the join, right to left and inner, and try it. You'll see the difference. What we were explaining over here, right? You'll see the output over there. What we saw over here in this left join, that you see all the tables, all the records of the left hand side table, and on the right hand side you see blanks for the ones where there isn't any data. So you will see that output. So inner join, you're going to get only rows which are common to both of them. Okay, here we had seen inner join, right? We had seen the output of the inner join is only going to be these rows which are matching to each other. So over here, when we write an inner join, you see we are getting only 15 rows because you are getting the output for the rows where both the orders are present. Both orders are present, and there is a record in the returns table as well. So you are getting only those rows. Got the idea? There is no base. The base is whatever matches for both of the from both of the tables. You're getting only those records. So try that. I'll be back in a minute. You got the output for all three? Inner, out, left outer. Yes. And you can also try join, right? One second. No? So MySQL does not seem to support full joins. So there, uh, so we'll leave that for now. Okay, but I hope you got an idea about inner join, outer joins. So if you want to add another column, right, you just need to write the after this and or whatever you want to write and on that join. Make sense? Like we have store procedures. If you remember store procedures we had seen. Did we talk about functions at any point? Did you talk about functions? Anytime did we talk about functions? We spoke about functions, is it? Okay. So like you have store procedure, you remember store procedures? Creating a store procedure like this, create, we have written those names and stuff. In that same way, if I right click over here, and if I look at this alter function, that I pass a variable, right? I pass sales. Okay. This is a function, customer level. It is taking sales and it is checking over here. If sales is greater than 50,000, then the customer level is platinum. If sales is otherwise, it is silver. Okay. So this is how we right click and create a new function. Okay, right click, create a new function. So again, we can type this, you can put the name whatever you want to. This is the name of the function. So we can say check sales. This is a user defined function. Like in Excel, you have these functions, right? You have proper or on any of these functions which you see over here. This makes it the text case, it changes it to proper. In that same way, you can write a lot of things over here. So I'll take an input over here. I'm changing the name to check sales. Okay. And if you notice, this is the name of the function. This check sales is the name of the function. In this bracket, I can say what values it takes. Okay. It takes sales. Okay. My input is sales. I need to define what it is in the sense integer or decimal. Like that I need to define it. So decimal 10 comma 2. Yes, another, I don't need the bracket over here. Decimal 10 comma 2. So it will take this value as sales. And I'll define another variable over here. So this is like a little bit of programming. Okay, this is like a little bit of programming in a sense. You can write if then else over here. You can write you'll do a lot of things over here. This is very basic. I just wanted to give you an idea that if you want to decide that, right, I'll declare a variable over here and I'm going to check if sales greater than 50,000, then customer level equal to platinum. Else, is there a then over here? Yeah, there is a then over here. I need to use set. So it doesn't work just like that. I need to use set. Else, yeah. At each end of each line, I need to define this. If you remember last time we had also changed that semicolon delimiter, but I am not using that option. I am using it right from here, create function. And instead of returning 1, we need to return this customer level. Okay. So returns, this is varchar. I need to make it varchar. It's not going to be text. It's a varchar. Okay. So you're defining the function that is going to return an integer or a text. So when I say return, it's going to return this value. So let's see if this works. There was an error applying the script. Has none of deterministic. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. You need to write deterministic primarily. We try now. And when I open a new SQL, so I can actually call this check sales and I give 60,000. My bad. Oh. One second. So yeah. So here I am using this function in the select statement. So here it gives me platinum. If I give this value as this, it gives me silver. Got the idea? This This is a way of writing function. So you can define your own functions actually. You can define if there isn't a function which is available for you, you want to define your own function. You can do that. Like in Excel, you want to find a function which does a sum product, then adds the data and then multiplies it. You want to do some 10 steps, which you will do every time. That is where you can create your own function. Got the idea? There are 10 steps which you want to run every time on your own. That is the purpose of this. Does that help or no? You need to write it in the code if you want to incorporate that, right? These 10 steps, you need to write it over here. And in the end, you get one output which you send back. Return. Make sense? Right. Okay. Try that. Try this function on your own. And then we'll move to the last point, which is there. So you guys got a chance to try that?
Sir, can you just once show how you created the function? I have done it, but can I see
Right
it
click,
on?
create
Huh.
function.
Okay, okay, huh. Okay. First.
Actually, that's added automatically. We just need to add deterministic. Returns varchar and deterministic.
Sir, can you show the procedure again?
The procedure in the sense, how do you create the function?
No, sir, we created the function. Then after that,
Okay, you need to run it. So when you run it, right, you need to write a select statement. Select the function name and the value parameter that you need to pass.
okay. Sir, it's showing error.
Can you show what is there?
Sir, it's check sales does not exist.
No, can you show the? Can you share your screen?
Yes. Sir, is my screen visible?
No. Just sitting a black screen.
Sir, still not visible.
No. Can you paste a screenshot of your function?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, yes, I'll do that.
Now it's visible. Now it was visible. To see
Sir,
the
I'll send a screenshot.
yeah.
Okay, sir.
When you created the function, did you get any error or it got created?
Sir, I did the whole thing, but then also it's showing error that check sales does not exist.
Do you see the function in the functions under function on the left hand side? Do you see the function?
Yes, sir.
Can you sending the screenshot? Over here you see the function like this.
No, no, sir. This is not visible.
So the function did not get created.
Oh, I'll do it again then.
All right. Neha, yours is done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's one small thing which I wanted to share, explain. Now, many a times, if you notice in Excel, right, you have this value wherein you can make this data represent as a number, okay, like this. So if it was 22.81, yeah, I can reduce this, make these changes. I can make the formatting changes. So in SQL, there is a function called cast. So here, if I look at this, select star as integer. So it makes it like this. If I make it decimal, 4 comma 2, it makes it like this. If I make it 4 comma 1, it truncates it. And 4 comma 0, so it makes it 26. So this is cast. You can convert a text to a number. If sometimes the data is, even though it's a number, it gets stored as a text. You can represent or convert that using cast. I would so try this also. You got the idea? There are many representations of this integer, decimal, money, text, and whatnot. Let's try this. So the representation changes from that perspective. So can you open Jupyter? We want to try and connect to MySQL using Python. I will be back in a minute. Just open Jupyter. We have Jupyter open. Okay. The first thing you need to do is you need to write the statement import sys. All right. You need to write a new statement. Okay. Import sys. Okay, you need to write this. In order to connect to MySQL, you need a MySQL connector. Okay, you need a MySQL connector. So here, if you see, in Python, it tells you how to connect and everything, coding examples, everything is there over here. Yeah. So here, if you see in your MySQL itself, you will find a lot of examples how to connect to MySQL using Python. But the first step, in order for Python to recognize this, right, you need to install this package. So you need to run these two lines without the hash. Okay, run these two lines without the hash, and we run it only once. So which is why you need to put the hash again, otherwise you'll keep on installing it. You don't need to install it again and again. So this is a statement. Normally what we do, right, if you want to install something, you go to where do you go? You go to this Anaconda prompt, and here you type the statement pip install MySQL connector. But I'm just showing it to you how you do it within Jupyter itself so that it becomes easier for you. Otherwise, we type that command over here pip install MySQL connector or MySQL connector Python. We're going to do it through Jupyter. So run these two lines also, and you might get, it might take some time to install. Let me know once you've been able to install this. Alright, Arpita, yours is also done. Arpita, your installation is done? Okay. So the next step is to import the connector, MySQL connector. Okay, import that connector. And we need to create this connection string. Once we import the connector, we need to write a connection string after you import the connector. So import the connector and then I'll explain the connection string. Is your import done? You will have to change some things over here. You have to change certain elements over here. So if you want to connect to US Superstore, we'll need to write this as US underscore superstore. Let me know if these two lines, you have to change the ID and password, alright? I'm sure the user is root and your password, whatever you entered over here when connecting to MySQL over here, right? You would have entered a password over there. That is the password you need to give over here. Let me know if you have been able to run these two lines. Were you able to run those two? See, the host is localhost. If you see over here, the host is localhost only. You do not need to give the port or anything. Okay. The user is root, password is whatever the password is, and the database is what you want to connect to. If it is US Superstore, you write US Superstore. Okay. The next step is to define a cursor. So programmatically, all your data is going to come in this cursor. Okay, it's a cursor is like you can think of it as an array. One by one, it stores all the records which you get in your table. Okay, one by one is going to store that data. So I run this my cursor equal to mydb dot cursor. Okay, mydb is what we defined as a connection string. In that connection string, we are defining a cursor. So we need to write this as the next line. Were you able to execute that line? And then I run this, my cursor.execute, select star from US superstore.users. When I run this, I'm sure my data is come in that. You might get an error over here, so let me know if you're getting an error at this step. Did you get any error while running that line? Alright, great. Cool. The next step is you're going to write one more line, my result. So whatever is there in the cursor is fetched into my result. Okay, these are basically very basic steps in terms of how do I connect to a database. You need to have a connection string and you need to have a cursor which is going to be executing. Within this cursor is your select statement. You can make changes to this, whatever you want, whatever you write, however you write the select statement, you can write that over here within these quotes, double quotes. Okay, that is how it works. When you run this, no result to fetch from Papa. Bye bye. I run this. Okay. So we have my result also. If I just print my result, see this data which is got, with whatever you've got, right? Who are the users? I've got that data, and I can do a for loop like this. You get the output. Great. Arpita, you also got the output. You can change this users to orders and try it again. You can change the users to orders, and you notice you get the entire data like this. So I have got my data. I can store it as a data frame or whatever I want to, right? I'm getting my data like this over here. I can connect to any database and I can get my data like this. And in Python, then I can analyze and do whatever I want to. Make sense? Alrighty then. So we've covered everything. We'll have one session which is like a revision. Okay. And if there are any doubts, we can answer all those doubts. But these are the points I wanted to cover. This should give you a good understanding of how to use SQL And the more you use it, the more you'll understand it. Okay. Any doubts, questions? Okay then. So like I said, right, if you have any doubts, we'll have one more session sometime next week and we can plan that. Thank you so much. I am done for now.